Hi, dear friends. Today's story is called The Clock Tower That Stopped Time. So sit back, relax, and let your imagination travel with us into a mysterious town where time itself once came to a stop. In a quiet valley surrounded by rolling green hills stood a small town called Silverbrook. The town was peaceful and beautiful, with cobblestone streets, colorful houses, and friendly neighbors who greeted each other every morning. But the most remarkable thing in Silverbrook was the great clock tower that stood in the center of town. It was tall, so tall that its golden clock face could be seen from every corner of the valley. Every hour, the tower chimed with a deep, beautiful sound that echoed through the hills. For as long as anyone could remember, the clock tower had never failed, except for one night. In a small blue house near the edge of town lived a curious 12-year-old boy named Eli. Eli loved exploring and discovering things most people overlooked. He enjoyed climbing hills, searching old buildings, and imagining hidden mysteries in the world around him. One evening, as Eli sat by his bedroom window reading a book, something unusual happened. The clock tower struck midnight, but instead of hearing 12 chimes, he only heard 11. Eli frowned. "That's strange," he whispered. The tower had never missed a chime before. Curious, Eli leaned closer to the window. The night was calm, and the moon hung high above the town like a silver lantern. Suddenly, the clock tower's hands stopped moving. The long minute hand froze between numbers. The shorter hour hand stayed perfectly still. Eli blinked. "That's impossible." He waited. 1 minute passed, then another. The clock did not move. Something was wrong. Grabbing his jacket, Eli quietly slipped out of the house and stepped into the cool night air. The streets were silent as he walked toward the center of town. As he approached the clock tower, a strange feeling filled the air, like the town itself was holding its breath. The tower loomed above him, dark and mysterious. Eli pushed open the heavy wooden door at its base. To his surprise, it creaked open easily. Inside, a spiral staircase wound upward into darkness. Eli swallowed nervously. Then curiosity took over. He stepped inside. The door slowly closed behind him. The only sound was the faint ticking of gears echoing somewhere above. Step by step, Eli climbed the spiral staircase. The higher he went, the louder the ticking became. Tick, tick, tick. But something felt wrong about the sound. It wasn't steady. It was uneven. When Eli finally reached the top room of the tower, he gasped. The entire chamber was filled with enormous gears, spinning wheels, and brass mechanisms glowing in the moonlight. But in the center of the room stood something even stranger, a glass sphere floating in the air. Inside the sphere was a swirling golden light, like a tiny storm made of glowing dust. Eli stepped closer. The ticking of the tower suddenly slowed. Tick, tick, tick. Then the golden sphere flickered, and a soft voice whispered, "Help!" Eli froze. "Who's there?" he asked. The light inside the sphere pulsed again. "I am the keeper of time," the voice said gently. Eli's eyes widened. "The what?" For centuries, I have kept time flowing for this town, but something has gone terribly wrong." Eli looked around the room at the giant gears grinding slowly. "What happened?" The light dimmed slightly. "Someone has stolen a piece of time itself." Eli felt a chill run down his spine. If time stops completely, Silverbrook will freeze forever. Outside the tower, the wind began to rise. The gears slowed further. Eli clenched his fists. "What can I do to help?" The sphere glowed brighter. "You must find the lost time shard." "Where is it?" The keeper's voice became faint. "It was taken into the forest of forgotten hours." Eli had heard stories about that forest. It lay beyond the hills, dark, mysterious, and rarely visited. But if the town was in danger, there was no time to waste. Eli turned toward the tower stairs. "I'll find it," he said firmly. Behind him, the keeper of time whispered softly, "Be careful, for the forest holds secrets older than the clock itself." As Eli stepped back into the night, he looked up at the frozen clock hands. They still hadn't moved, and somewhere beyond the hills, time was waiting to be restored. Eli stepped out of the clock tower and looked across the quiet town of Silverbrook. Everything felt strange. The wind barely moved the trees. The air felt heavier than usual. Even the night seemed quieter. Above him, the clock tower hands were still frozen. Time was slowly weakening. Eli took a deep breath and began walking toward the hills beyond the town. Beyond those hills was the place the keeper of time had warned him about, the forest of forgotten hours. Most people in Silverbrook avoided that forest. Old stories said the forest held echoes of lost moments, forgotten memories, and strange creatures that lived outside the normal flow of time. But Eli knew he had no choice. If he didn't find the lost time shard, the entire town would eventually stop moving forever. After a long walk under the pale moonlight, Eli reached the edge of the forest. Tall trees stretched into the sky, their twisted branches forming dark shapes against the stars. The moment Eli stepped inside, he noticed something unusual. The forest felt slow. Leaves drifted through the air as if falling in slow motion. A droplet of water hung on the tip of a leaf, trembling but never falling. "Okay," Eli whispered. "That's definitely strange." He carefully followed a narrow path between the trees. As he walked deeper into the forest, faint glowing lights appeared between the branches. Small floating orbs drifted through the air like tiny lanterns. One of them slowly floated toward him. Eli reached out his hand. The glowing orb hovered above his palm. Inside it, he saw something incredible. It was a memory. A little girl laughing while chasing butterflies. The orb shimmered softly, then drifted away again. "These must be forgotten moments," Eli murmured. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound behind him. Eli turned quickly. From behind a large tree stepped a small creature about the size of a rabbit, but it didn't look like any rabbit Eli had ever seen. It had soft silver fur, long ears, and glowing blue eyes. Around its neck hung a tiny pocket watch. The creature looked at Eli curiously. "You're not supposed to be here," it said. Eli blinked. "You can talk?" "Of course I can talk. I'm a chrono hare." "A what?" "A guardian of lost moments," the hare explained proudly. Eli knelt down. "I'm looking for the time shard. Someone stole it from the clock tower." The chrono hare's ears drooped. "Yes, we know." "You do?" The hare nodded. "The one who stole it lives deeper in the forest." Eli felt a knot form in his stomach. "Who?" The hare looked toward the dark trees ahead. "The collector of hours." Eli frowned. "That sounds bad." "It is," the hare replied. "For many years, the collector has gathered pieces of lost time, moments people forgot, seconds they wasted, hours they never noticed." "But stealing the time shard?" Eli said. "That's different. Without it, the clock tower can't control time." Eli stood up. "Then we have to get it back." The chrono hare hesitated. "The collector's castle lies beyond the Valley of Silent Seconds." "Silent seconds?" Eli asked. "Yes," the hare said quietly. "A place where time barely moves at all." Eli took a deep breath. "Well, I guess that's where we're going." The chrono hare hopped ahead, guiding Eli through the forest. As they walked, the forest became stranger. Some trees grew upside down. A single raindrop hung frozen in the air. A bird flapped its wings slowly, barely moving. Soon they reached a wide valley. The ground shimmered like glass. "Welcome to the Valley of Silent Seconds," the hare said softly. Eli stepped forward. The moment he entered the valley, everything slowed dramatically. His footsteps felt heavy. Even his breathing seemed slower. "What's happening?" Eli asked. "Time moves differently here," the hare explained. "It's one of the places where the collector gathers forgotten moments." Eli continued forward carefully. In the center of the valley stood a tall, dark structure, a castle. Its towers twisted into the sky like crooked fingers. Green light flickered inside its windows. "That must be it," Eli whispered. "The collector's castle." As they approached, Eli noticed something chilling. Floating around the castle were hundreds of glowing orbs, just like the memory orbs in the forest, but these were darker. Inside them were trapped moments, frozen seconds. A child dropping an ice cream, a man missing a train, a woman forgetting a birthday. Lost moments. The collector's door slowly creaked open. Eli froze. From inside stepped a tall figure wearing a long coat made of ticking clock parts. Gears turned slowly along the sleeves. A glowing crystal floated in the figure's hand. The time shard. Eli's heart pounded. "That's it!" The figure looked directly at him. Its voice was calm and cold. "So, someone finally came looking." The collector of hours smiled faintly. "And just in time." The collector of hours stepped out into the pale green glow that surrounded his castle. His long coat shimmered with thousands of tiny ticking gears. The time shard in his hand pulsed like a beating heart. Eli's voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. "You stole the shard. You're stopping the clock tower." The collector tilted his head slightly. "Stopping? No. I'm saving time." The chrono hare's fur bristled. "Saving it? You're hoarding it." The collector ignored the hare and fixed his gaze on Eli. "Do you know what happens to moments that people waste? Seconds they toss aside, hours they regret. They disappear, they fade, they die. Eli shook his head. That's just life. Exactly, the collector said, and I've made it my mission to rescue them. He gestured to the orbs floating around the castle. Each orb contained a lost moment, some sad, some happy, some forgotten. These moments were abandoned, he said softly. I collected them, preserved them, gave them purpose. Eli felt sympathy, but he also felt fear. But why steal the time shard? Eli asked. Why freeze Silverbrook? The collector's expression darkened. Because the world never stops, he whispered. Time keeps moving forward and punishing everyone. People lose loved ones, grow old, forget what matters. His voice cracked. I wanted one place, just one place where time could stand still, where nothing changed, where nothing disappeared. The truth hit Eli like a wave. You're hurting everyone because you don't want to lose something yourself. The collector's eyes flashed with anger and grief. A trembling silence filled the air. Finally, he said in a quiet voice, her name was Alara. He held a small, glowing orb in his other hand. Inside the orb was a girl about Eli's age, laughing as she held a bouquet of wildflowers. My sister, the collector whispered. She loved exploring, she loved clocks, she loved time, and then one day she was gone, taken by an illness no one could stop. The orb dimmed. Eli's chest tightened. When I lost her, the collector continued, the world felt cruel. Every second felt sharp. Every hour hurt. So I built this castle, and I vowed never to lose anything again. The chronohare stepped forward gently. Collector, grief doesn't stop by freezing time. The collector looked away. Eli swallowed hard and said quietly, if you freeze Silverbrook, nobody can make new memories. Nobody can heal. Nobody can remember Alara the way she deserved. The collector blinked. His grip on the time shard loosened slightly. Eli continued, voice trembling but strong. You're trying to protect time, but time isn't the enemy. Time gives us love. Time gives us hope. Time gives us moments worth remembering. He stepped closer. And you're not alone in losing someone, but freezing the world won't bring her back. For the first time, the collector looked uncertain. Eli gently held out his hand. Please, let me take the shard. Let me save my town. And I promise we'll remember Alara. We'll remember all the moments you've protected. The wind in the valley shifted. The gears on the collector's coat slowed. Finally, slowly, he placed the glowing shard in Eli's palm. The moment Eli touched it, a warm pulse spread through his fingers. A ripple of golden light burst across the valley, lifting the heavy stillness from the air. The collector stepped back. Go, he whispered, before I change my mind. Eli and the chronohare hurried back through the valley of silent seconds. The world around them began to move faster, still slow, but waking up from sleep. Then they raced through the forest of forgotten hours, where glowing memory orbs drifted softly between the trees. The hare spoke breathlessly. Place the shard back into the keeper's sphere. It will restart the tower. Eli sprinted down the hill toward Silverbrook. The moment he entered the town, he saw people beginning to stir, like someone had pressed a play button on the world. But the clock tower remained frozen. Tick, tick. The gears inside ground weakly. Eli rushed up the spiral staircase, the time shard glowing brighter with every step. When he reached the top chamber, the keeper of time's sphere flickered faintly. You found it, she whispered. Eli held up the shard. Here, I brought it back. the golden sphere opened like a flower, revealing a swirling gap of light. Eli placed the shard inside. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a thunderous hum vibrated through the tower. The gears roared to life. Wheels turned fast and strong. Springs snapped back into motion. The shard fused into the keeper's sphere with a brilliant flash. Outside, the clock tower's hands jerked and started moving again. Dong! The tower rang with the loudest, clearest chime Eli had ever heard. Light shot from the tower windows, spilling into every street and alley, restoring the flow of time in Silverbrook. The keeper's voice filled the chamber warmly. "You have done what even ancient guardians could not. You reminded the world that time is not meant to be controlled, but cherished." Eli smiled tiredly. "I just wanted to help." "And so you did," the keeper whispered. When Eli stepped out of the tower, the sky was turning pink with sunrise. The town was alive again, birds singing, people waking, shops opening. Time was flowing as it should. At the edge of the square, the collector of hours stood quietly. He looked smaller now, less frightening, more human. Eli approached him gently. "Are you okay?" The collector nodded. "I don't know what comes next, but perhaps it's time I let go and lived in the moments I have left." Eli hesitated, then said, "You can visit Silverbrook any time. Maybe you can tell us about Alara. We'll remember her with you." The collector's eyes softened. "Thank you." He turned, his cloak shimmering, and slowly walked back into the forest, no longer as a villain, but as someone trying to heal. That evening, the townspeople celebrated. The clock tower chimed joyfully, echoing through the hills. Eli stood beneath it, gazing up in wonder. The keeper of time whispered on the wind, "Time is safe because of you." Eli felt warm inside. Maybe he was just a boy from a small town, but today he saved time itself.